Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another one of my tutorial videos. This is a tutorial on a program that I use called Paint.net. Okay, now Paint.net is a picture editing program, a lot like Microsoft Paint or GIMP or some of these other programs you might be using, but I prefer Paint.net because it's a lot easier to use. It's more understanding for me. I can grasp Paint.net. Okay, so that's what I'm using. As a YouTuber, I use Paint.net to make my thumbnails for my videos. And I'm going to use this demonstration as my thumbnail for this video. Now, what I've done is I've uploaded a picture into Paint.net, and it's as simple as just drag and dropping a picture into Paint.net. Okay, and then as soon as you do, it'll just load into the base layer, the background. If you are not familiar with Paint.net, I'm just going to, if I glaze over something, I apologize, but I am going to try to explain the entire process from start to finish. When it comes to creating a thumbnail. Now, this video was not initially a tutorial about creating a thumbnail. It was going to be about, and it is technically about adding text and then outlining the text. There was a technique shown by another YouTuber on how to outline text, and his explanation worked fine, but it took a long time. Plus, it took a lot of extra clicks, and you had to do some fine point clicking to do it. Basically, and I'll show you their technique, and then I'll show you why I don't approve of that technique. Okay, so what they would do is they would add a blank layer. By clicking this, you add a blank layer above your current layer that you're working on. But now I'm going to work on layer 2, and I go to text, and it can be any text, but I'm going to use stencil because that's my channel uses stencil quite a bit. And then you click anywhere, doesn't matter, and you can type in what you're going to what you want your thumbnail to be. And I'm going to say creating thumbnails with Paint.net. Okay, now that looks awful small, and if you had a small picture like this on YouTube or anywhere, you would not really understand or be able to see what that thumbnail says. So bring this back up. Also, it's black, right? So you have over here an ability to change the color of the thumbnail. Well, I'm going to click white. Notice your text changes to white. I'm going to change this to a much larger text. There we go. That's still not large enough in my opinion. There we go. Now you can grab this little cross and you can drag your text anywhere you want, right? And I'm going to put this kind of in the upper left-hand corner in line with, and what that does is when looking at a picture, you want to use the rule of 3, and that's where you divide your picture into 3s, and the main subject is not being covered by your text. Okay, but still, this white is hard to see when you have a lot of white in the back. Like this width, you probably can't even see that H. It's like super hard to see, right? So what we do now is we create a duplicate layer to the one with the text. To do that, you click on this one, duplicate layer. Boom. So now you have 2 layers. They both say exactly the same thing. If I turn these off, right, this is the background. That's the one with the text on it, but that one also is the one with the text on it. They're both exactly the same. So now what I do is I take any one of these two text layers, I go to adjustments, invert colors. So the opposite of white is black. Okay? And if you notice, this layer is now black. It's covered by the white layer. Let's move the white layer down below the black layer. Now you see the black and the white is underneath it, right? Okay. You'd almost say, well, hey, that's good enough. The black is, I can see the black, but not really. What if you don't want it to be black? I'm going to change it to blue, or shoot, hell, green. We'll just go crazy green. And then I'll move this into the corner. Right. Let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. So now I've got green, 2 layers of green, right? So now I'm going to take this top layer and I'm going to adjust the colors. If I invert green, you get, if you notice, you're going to get an opposite color. Like this green goes to this purple. Blue goes to this yellow, right? And then, white goes to black, et cetera, et cetera. And what that is kind of like the largest contrast that you will receive for those colors. So let's put the green on top, right? Let's take the purple and let's go with the Gaussian blur. Now I've got the purple selected, so we're Gaussian blurring it by 20, right? And then we duplicate the Gaussian blur. There you go. You're getting that green with that purple. You have the biggest contrast using that method. I personally don't know if I like the whole green with purple, but okay. And to test your appearance of your thumbnail, shrink your thumbnail down to about the size that you normally see thumbnails on YouTube and test to see if you're able to read it. Like I can read that. It says creating thumbnails using paint.net. Use the back arrow here to delete or undo the work that I've done. Okay, I'm going to put it in white because I prefer the black and white look. So let's go back to text. This hasn't changed. Creating. Don't worry about the green. Thumbnails using paint.net. Okay, and then we position it to where I want it. I'm going to adjust the color to white. Duplicate the layer. Invert that color. Put it underneath the white. Go to a Gaussian blur. 20 is too much. I want an outline, not a shadow. So I go to about 6. And then I duplicate that black layer underneath, giving me a nice, sharp, clean line. And then now, okay, now once you've got the thumbnail that you like, that you think is going to work the best for, okay, now see, now I shrink it down and it doesn't necessarily look like it's what I want it to be. So let's get rid of these. Yeah, it wasn't sharp enough. This Gaussian blur wasn't sharp enough for me. Bring it back to where it's just one layer. Okay, put that underneath. I've heard 12 is a pretty good number. Let's see what we get. And then also you want about 20 layers to get a nice, sharp, clean look. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's shrink it down. Oh yeah, you can see that a lot better. Okay, so now once you've got your thumbnail the way you want it, and you've added any pictures, any icons, anything to it that you want to add, a face, a picture, or whatever, now you have to merge all these layers into one picture because currently there's still multiple pictures. So you take the top layer and then you're going to merge it down. And what it's doing is it's adding all these layers together. Just keep going until you get to the bottom. In other tutorials, I might show you the benefit of merging them in the middle of production, but right now, that's super simple, right? This is what we did. We drug a picture. We created a blank layer. We typed our words on it. We duplicated the text layer. We inverted the colors on the text layer. We blurred the under layer. We created multiple layers of the blur, causing it to be dark, darkening the blur. Then we combined them all together into one picture. Currently, this is one picture. Okay. Now we go to File, Save As, right? And you go to wherever you're going to save it. So I'm going to save this picture as not an exfit, not as that. I'm going to save it as a thumb tutorial, and I'm going to change it from a JP to a PNG. As you can see, I've got some other thumbnails I have saved, but I'm going to, oh, I love that extra. Save it. Okay, it goes to save, and it says my file size is going to be large, right? Well, I don't want it to be that large, so I'm going to cancel this, right? And I'm going to go to my image, resize it. Lately, I've been doing kind of a 70% on that. There we go. Because for YouTube, you want your file size to be under 2. Under 2. Okay, so we go to File, Save As. It didn't change anything. Right. Wow, didn't change anything. Okay, here we go. Thumb tutorial, PNG, save. 2.1. Ah, still too big. Oh, see, bad guess. Okay. Okay. Image resize. I don't have to change much of the size anymore. I could probably go with 90 now. It'd be good. There we go. One 1.7 megabytes. There it is. Because you want it to be under 2 megabytes for YouTube. Okay, save. And it should be done. It should be saved. All right, and now when you find this video and you see the thumbnail that's already uploaded, that's how I created it. All right, well, thanks for coming out and checking out this video. If you have any questions or desires, or you have any questions on how you do something in Paint.net, please put it in the comments, and then maybe I'll make another tutorial on how to do that specific thing that you're asking. Now, I'm not an expert. This is something I learned just recently. In the past, I had been changing the color of each individual letter instead of just blanketing one change. Now that I do this, I can make thumbnails in just 2 minutes, where in the past it was taking me like 10 to 15 minutes to make each thumbnail, and it was just way too long. All right, well, thank you for checking this video out, and you guys have a great day.